lightning, thunder, it's spooky, scary, there's stones everywhere, and you're lost. It's top 10 cursed castles in history. Number 10, Blickling Hall. The birthplace of Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII, and for certain not the last. He had a few after her. Unfortunately for the young lass, she wouldn't last too long, and after failing to give her husband a male heir to the throne, their marriage fell apart. It's a classic story in all medieval marriages, how it goes. And like all marriages that fall apart, there was no saving it. Go ahead, try, I dare you. And when King Henry couldn't get the divorce he so desired, he convicted her of adultery and other crimes, where soon after she was beheaded. Ooh, scandalous. It's said that on the ground of Blickling Hall her ghost remains, headless, aimlessly wandering the halls. Oh dear. Number 9, Himeji Castle. All the way in the beautiful land of Japan, where cherry blossoms bloom and blow. Atop the Hyogo Prefecture sits the beautiful Himeji Castle. Ooh. While it stands like a monument to feudal Japan architecture, she holds a deep dark tale. A servant of the castle named Okiku. She had been blamed for breaking some good dishes, like the same kind of good china my mom said not to touch, but I always wondered what the heck's the point of having them anyway if we're not going to use them, Mom. Well, she was so distraught that she manually checked out of life. Ooh. When the guards found her in the kitchen, they dumped her down the well, as you do. Just procedure back then, I guess. It is said that she still haunts the castle today and can be heard counting the dishes she was accused of breaking, followed by sobbing and shrieking. No thanks. I don't know if you guys know, I don't like horror stuff, I don't like ghosts. Nope, not going, sorry. Number 8, Frankenstein's Castle. Yes, that's right, the castle that inspired Mary Shelley's horror masterpiece, or so I'm told. I use Cliff Notes. It's a great story, but kind of a tough read in my opinion. Yeah, I use Cliff Notes, it's pretty rough. The actual real-life castle is thought to be haunted by a man named Johann Conrad Dippel. Besides that name being very scary, the castle has many dark secrets. Dippel had this weird thing where he was a mad scientist, very similar to Dr. Frankenstein in the book. His ultimate science goal, like something out of Call of Duty Zombies, was to raise the dead and reanimate the life. Yes, come back to life, my pretties. Oh yes, oh yes. I don't know, that's I imagine he sounds like, I have no idea. To do this, he would seek out the freshly deceased and bring their body parts back to conduct not so family friendly experiments. After achieving his goal, he thought he would discover the secret to immortality. Now, after he drank one of his own experimental potions and elixirs, whatever you want to call that, he shortly passed away. Today it's said that his spirit can still be seen on the roof, watching over the other spirits of the graves that he disturbed. Yes, my little pretties, yes! Number 7, H.H. Holmes. While not a castle in the stone and brick sense, this place is certainly big enough to be a castle and has lots of trap doors like a castle. And there's a really weird guy who's bloodthirsty that owns the building like a castle and a king, so yeah, it checks out. H.H. Holmes was the owner of the often called Red Rum Castle. That's backwards for murder castle. Basically, it was a very large hotel that he fitted to his bloodthirsty needs. Trapdoors, hidden staircases, and areas allowing him to sneak about and take his victims down to the basement where they would await a most painful destruction. While the building is gone now, after Holmes was gone when the building was still there, many of his victims still roamed the halls. He confessed to 27 of those disappearances. Though some suspect it's higher and some suspect he doesn't classify as a serial unalifer, even though I don't know why, because 27 not a big enough number for you? Doesn't make any sense. Or is that H.H. Holmes saying that himself? Number 6, Dracula's Castle. I don't know, that's what the vampire sounds like. A lot of impressions today. Vlad the Impaler was an awful and evil tyrant from the late 1400s who defended Castle Bran against his enemies and did so quite horrifically. However, it goes beyond that. Never shy to use violence to get his point. His point across. He was a ghoulish figure who was thought to be a vampire himself. They might have been right, he was pretty weird. Yes, he was the basis for Count Dracula. Dracula might be scary, but he's got nothing on this guy. Vlad was known to impale people alive on spikes and logs that were, spike-like, and leave them to slowly perish away on full display. It's said that the bloodthirsty vampire can still be found lurking the halls of his old castle.
I dare you to come in.
Number 5, Casa Loma. For those that don't live in Canada or have never been to Toronto, there's a castle in the middle of the city. Yes, it's a real castle, and yes, I realize how that sounds, but there's a castle in the middle of the city. I don't know. Constructed in 1914 by Sir Henry Pellet for him and his wife. It cost him a fortune. Ooh, I forgot to put the number in it. I believe it was $1 million. That was a lot of money back then. Anyway, but it seems from the very start it was strange. For one, this architecture was outdated, even back then. Of course it was outdated, it was hundreds of years ago. Its massive size and what happened shortly after. This is not the case of a man who lived here all his life and passed, because he was forced to leave the home just a few short years later due to financial losses. However, today you might be able to find the White Lady ghost, as seen on the second floor and most recently in the basement. Now, the running theory is that she was one of the many servants who perished from influenza during the time, and if there's anything we know, it's that floating lady ghosts wearing white are the spookiest. Am I wrong? No, I'm not. That's science. I know it is. I'm a scientist. They'll put a beaker beside me. That's how you know. I'm a scientist, yep. Number 4, Edinburgh Castle. Oh, hey, what time? I'll bust this one out again nicer. Oh, you lot, Edinburgh, Scotland, and a most beautiful castle. I'll stop doing that. She's been there for hundreds of years, and statistically speaking, is one of the most attacked places on planet Earth, with a total of 26 over a span of a few hundred years. Apparently, that was enough to make it haunted. What's more interesting than that is a young lad who was tasked with seeing where a newly discovered tunnel led to. To make sure he didn't get lost, he took his bagpipes with him and was instructed to play so people above could tell where he was and what progress he was making. At first things were going great. He made his way into the tunnel and the people above could hear him playing. This was followed by a sudden and immediate stop. Ooh, horror. At first folks were too scared to go in after him and see what became of the red-haired lad who played the pipes. When the courage was mustered to see what actually happened, there wasn't a single trace of him. Not even a pipe, sir. Nothing left. That's so sad. Poor pipe playing boy. I was so sad for him. Number 3, Winchester Mansion. I'm not personally sure how haunting works or ghosts or like the great beyond works. I might be Canadian, but I'm certainly no Dan Aykroyd or Ghostbuster. I just don't know. The Winchester Manor is quite the peculiar case. It belonged to the Winchester family of Wild West fame, the very same who supplied the big irons for every coach in America. When Mr. Winchester had passed, the family fortune and estate was left to his wife, Sarah Winchester. Now, what may have started as a large home and mansion over time became a castle. Seriously, look at this thing, it's crazy. Sarah had add-on after add-on added to the mansion. After a while, these add-ons got stranger and stranger. Staircases that led nowhere, trap doors, doors that led to large falls, and some doors that just led to nowhere. It's very weird. Why all these strange things? Well, that's because she claimed that the lives her husband's work had taken were haunting the castle and she had to build them to deter the ghosts that haunted her. Boy, that's insanity right there. That's just craziness. Number 2, Houska Castle. While we don't have an official name for our sixth sense, some people just have that extra spidey sense. I know I don't. Like when a Nigerian prince sends you an email asking for your help. Sounds pretty sus. But more interesting than that is animals. I swear I've seen my household cat act different in a thunderstorm. They just know. Or cows that lay down right before it rains. It's weird. How do they know that? They don't have TV or a meteorologist to tell them it's going to rain, so how do they know? Well, it just makes sense because of the walls of Houska Castle in Czech Republic, animals won't go near it. Legend has it that it's the gate to hell, and a dragon was even spotted there one time. Well, if that's not your favorite kind of ghost story, there's more. During World War II, Germans took over the castle and used it as a base to conduct only the kind of experiments German scientists could do without adult supervision. To this day, it's recommended to stay away as you don't know what dark spirits may be lurking. Number 1, Leap Castle, Ireland. This bad boy dates back all the way to the 1200s and was under constant siege as castles were known to be for the time period. It's kind of the reason why they were built. As this castle hosts a few creatures of the evening. One supposedly is a priest that perished in one of the many sieges and seeks his bloodthirsty revenge on those who come near the chapel. Won't catch me there. Another is a foul beast called It. Possibly related to the Stephen King one, I'm not sure. No one is completely sure of its origin, but it's said you will smell its rotting flesh before you even see it. And lastly, most disturbingly, is a mother who waits in the ruins of the castle wielding a blade, ready to take revenge on those who stole her kin away. Because like I said, ladies in dresses and floating, that's the scariest. I don't like that. No thank you. Okay guys, that's gonna wrap it up for me today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe here at Bumblebee for more. And if you too don't like floating ghost ladies wearing white dresses, then check out my socials somewhere down below. I stream sometimes, it's fun, we'll have a good time, you and me. I love you guys so much, and stay sweet, my little honeybees. Would you like to try a beer and a sausage, yeah? Oh, all the way, that's all the way from Japan too, holy anyway. And mysteriously, the headphones disappeared. Whoa, that's so crazy. What happened? Whoa.